Good morning, almost good afternoon. This is Pastor Laura Cavendish. I serve at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Asheville, Ohio, and this is my day out of the office. So I've taken my time to dawdle around and come over here for my devotion time. And sorry if that inconvenienced you. I know some of you just lag after you see me post. You just come in later in the day. So hope you're all well. We continue today, day 33, seeing the familiar stranger. We're doing Lenten Devotions together, but if it's another time in your life, that is fine too. David L. Miller is our author, and he is gathering his thoughts around marks of the Christian and also the 12th chapter of Romans, which we're looking at verse 13b in that chapter. Extend hospitality to strangers. So I've extended hospitality to my dog who was whining. She's laying down and listening to our devotion with us. So, all right. Here is David L. Miller's reflection. Many times I have eaten the food of the poor and have been embarrassed. And each time you were teaching me, my Lord. After a long worship service in San Salvador, families competed with others to share their table. They wanted to ready us for our journey. I went and ate the greasiest, stringiest chicken I've ever seen, while our hosts looked on, taking more joy in our eating than in their own. This was likely the only time they would eat meat all week. I was eating their very best, which they needed far more than I did. It happened again at Cocodrillo in Cuba. I guess if I'm going to pronounce, I better do Cuba too. A meal of sea bass, freshly speared in the bay. And there was a wedding feast in Ethiopia, dining on fresh vegetables, fruit, and goat, with coffee just roasted beneath the trees. In Nigeria, we ate cassava root and mystery meat amid great heat and quiet laughter. The food changed with each place, and the faces sitting around on the ground were different colors and spoke various tongues. But the language of hospitality was always the same. I should have been feeding them, caring for them, and in a way I was. I received their giving with thanks, fulfilling their joy in sharing with one who was richer than they could imagine, and also so much poorer. For I didn't see the way they see. They looked at me and saw you, Jesus. I was a stranger to be welcomed, and in the welcoming, we received your holy presence. I deserve no such treatment. I'm just a guy who is making up his life as he goes along, who wishes he were less selfish, more giving, more committed, and certainly more clear about who he is and what he should do. But I was welcomed as you. They looked at me and saw a familiar stranger, the mystery of divine presence waiting to be revealed. In their welcome, the marriage of your eternal word and human flesh happened among us. Host and guest together knew you, the one who is always waiting to be welcomed. And here's our wisdom for today from Hebrews 13:2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. That's a classic verse. Encountered it in many women's Bible studies together when we're thinking about the gift of hospitality that some are just so blessed with. So, theological thought, and it comes to us today from Saint Benedict. The Rule of Saint Benedict, edited by Timothy Fry, published by Vintage in 1998. So a collection of his writings. All right. So Saint Benedict. All guests who present themselves are to be welcomed as Christ. For he himself will say, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. All humility should be shown in addressing a guest upon arrival or departure, by a bow of the head or by a complete prostration of the body. Christ is to be adored because he is indeed welcomed in them. Great care and concern are to be shown in receiving poor people and pilgrims, because in them more particularly Christ is received. I wish I had that up. All guests who present themselves are to be welcomed as Christ. Can you think about that as people approach and do deliveries at your house and check in or stop at the road? All guests who present themselves are to be welcomed as Christ, for he himself will say, I was a stranger and you welcome me. All humility should be shown in addressing a guest upon arrival or departure, by a bow of the head or by complete prostration of the body. Christ is to be adored because he is indeed welcomed in them. Great care and concern are to be shown in receiving poor people and pilgrims, because in them more particularly Christ is received. I mean, it's just kind of like, here's the rules. No complication about it. So much we are taught to be so wary. It's just refreshing to hear about, just be humble and all will be good. So so countercultural. Think about a time when you were embarrassed about receiving a gift. What caused your embarrassment? Societal norms about repaying and, do I repay? Do I receive? Those kind of things cause embarrassment sometimes for me. How do you see others, especially when meeting those unknown to you? How can you practice seeing stranger and friend as Christ? I think that motion of my greeting to you, in our culture, we're taught to put out the hand. But sometimes I think about other cultures and their greeting of, I'm going to bow my head to you. I am going to make it clear that I see you as equal and even superior to me. I look to who you are. So interesting there. Hmm. Well, I'll let you work at that for yourself too. Here's a psalm fragment, Psalm 113. Who is like the Lord our God, who is seated on high? He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. Psalm 113, that was verse 5 and verse 7. All right, for some of you, that reflection stirred memories. So go ahead and write about those in your journal today. That's his first question. What memories did the reflection stir in you? One story I have always been touched by was Shirley Wookter's story about when her husband Michael died and they were overseas, and how what she experienced was seen as a community member's death, and all the just treating her like family, not as, oh my gosh, look at the problem now. I mean, it was like, we will now comfort you. So if you ever get a chance, I think she wrote that down somewhere. Her name is Shirley Wookter. Husband was Michael. Have you ever welcomed another as Christ? What happened in you? When has welcoming others revealed the divine presence? So think through all those things. When have you basically experienced what our author was experiencing? Have you ever welcomed another as Christ, and what happened in you? I mean, have you been like those who welcomed him? When has welcoming others revealed the divine presence? So, when have there been road to Emmaus type experiences for you? That's what I think of. The traveler reveals it is Jesus. Today, may I welcome each person as you, my Lord. Amen. And that's our prayer. Today, may I welcome each person as you, my Lord. Amen. So, pretty clear for us today. Some of us aren't like super excited about theological thinking, but that is a practicality we can practice and see how we grow in faith with that. Today, may I welcome each person as you, my Lord. Amen. So I don't know who it is you will meet today, but our prayer is we welcome them as Christ. So, all right. Go in peace this day. May Christ go with you. We will see you tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we will be gathering for Palm Sunday. And it fascinates me that Monday, we are going to look at blessing the enemy as we move into those Holy Week stories. All right. Okay. We will see you. It's my day off and I'm a little scattery, and that's good. I need that to bring back focus for the rest of the work I do. So we'll see ya.